It's not gonna make much of a difference, but I might be wrong, but,
Yeah, the scheduling could make a difference.
I mean, if you have to do some type of analysis on it, we'll find out.
I don't think we're gonna affect, if it comes to 12 million or something of that magnitude, I don't think we can affect that without program issues.
One of the
Or
numbers that
schedule.
you were privileged to, I think it was on one of our worksheets last time, was if we took the entire supply budget from the $160 million, it was 1.5 million. But to your point, all the small numbers start adding up into big numbers. So
That 5-point plan there, where did that one come from?
somebody emailed,
Yeah, this was an email. I mean, everybody else is anonymous, so I'm not gonna say anything.
No, that's all right, no, we hadn't discussed that, I was just
But
wondering.
that was an email that one of the committee members sent in.
Are those, them numbers been verified? That they've given?
No, those are the numbers that came with the,
I sent that in,
With
and
the
that's just a
idea.
proposal that I wanted to throw out.
Okay.
It's number,
The whole 5 point.
The 5
all
point.
points there.
what I'm trying to do is not have a massive teacher layoff, but there are in Albany. It was just on the news today, they're laying off 110 teachers. Now, number 4 is already gonna happen. We are gonna, the way it stands now, if you move, let's say, from Mount Pleasant to Zoller, let's say in December, your kid goes back to Pleasant Valley. That rule's gonna change, so there will be savings there.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
yeah,
I heard it was sunset.
We actually have made it a permanent policy.
Okay, well, then I heard wrong.
That's it.
Yeah, the opposite.
Okay.
The goal is to just to have those least disruption to the students as possible during the year. But that next September, they will go to their home school if they move, but they will stay, they have the choice of staying where they were.
Okay, I heard the opposite, sorry.
No, yeah, that was, it actually was approved the second time this year, because they forgot that we approved it the first time.
Okay,
we want to make doubly sure.
Yes.
well then, cross number 4 out.
It's easy.
But what I'm trying to do is look at busing expenses, try and get back to neighborhood schools as much as possible. Obviously, it's not gonna be 100% doable, but
And recall too, and again, not knowing which
I'm
one.
also, just one last thing, I'd love to get the 9th graders out of the school. I think we have overcrowding in the high school now. If you talk to the parents in the community, I mean, that's a universal. And this 9th grade academy, I don't see the support for it. And I don't think it's feasible to bus kids from all over the city to one. I think it is a dead proposal anyway.
And what about,
Okay.
staying on that transportation van, has anyone looked into anything with CDTA? Like in the city, they use MTA to transport high school kids to various colleges and various high schools. You know, is there a possibility we could work out a deal with CDTA to transport high schoolers using their existing routes?
They used to
Yeah,
do that.
they
in the
used to
city, and
do
they used
that.
to-
Before
now
school
they have to pay a
buses.
regular
The one
price to
difficulty
bus.
with that is right now, we get 90% back on our transportation aid, and there's no, to my knowledge, there's no reimbursement structure from the state. We would have to, incur the entire expense that CTA would pay us for whatever passports.
Okay, so we lose all federal aid for, as you
State
understand.
aid for transportation.
Bill?
Now, that's interesting, because I know in Philadelphia, they've worked out something with public transportation to have a reciprocal agreement where they have reduced cost passes for students in a different scenario. But,
They do that in Italy too, they just use
Where?
in Italy, they just use their student ID card.
yeah.
But it's really difficult for the people who live farther away from the high school. That's a burden on them.
Our bus system in Schenectady is not as well developed as New York City. I mean, it's too far. It would, like you said, some kids, there's no bus.
It's centralized down State Street.
I mean,
So in the 6 months, in this, talking about state funding 90% of that, well, certainly what the state money they cut, is that, are we gonna be able to
And Jim,
assign that to
you were at the
something
most
and sort
recent
of not
state aid
do what it
plan,
pays for?
because from what my information has been, is that the cuts did not necessarily touch transportation aid at this point.
Do they touch anything specifically?
Well, our transportation aid is separate than the foundation aid that they're talking about reducing 6%. $6 million.
The foundation aid, which is the largest piece of aid that we received, was kept the same. What really is controlling the reduction is the gap elimination assessment that the governor is putting out there. So the aid that we're receiving is very similar to what we received this current year, but then the governor is proposing to take a huge chunk out and use it to balance the state budget.
If that does happen, how do we react, how does the school district react to that, and make up for that?
What do we
You
do?
can't raise taxes at that
Appoint a
point.
budget advisory committee.
No banks are disclosed.
What do we do?
We have to pay the bills, I mean.
Exactly, and the key is to, if that holds, or wherever we are, is to get to a tax rate increase that the taxpayers can support and that meets the needs of the students.
Right, but what I'm saying is, you could take back the aid
In August.
right away, but you're not gonna be able to raise taxes until a certain point. Right, one point.
If he does like a mid-year?
Yes. that's what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying.
Well, the mid-year, first of all, we do everything we can to affect our cash flow.
Mhm.
If we think we're gonna get that money back, we've had a couple options, and we went out, I don't know, Jim, you wanna, we went out and we borrowed,
Well, two borrowings, both $10 million, so total $20 million in revenue anticipation notes, which basically you borrow against anticipated revenue that you're going to receive later on. So whenever that revenue comes in, you pay off that.
So that's short-term borrowing.
Exactly.
The other question is, issuing bonds, how does that work? And how much can we actually put out there for investors to buy in order to support us? In order to pay the investors back, how do we come up with that money also? So what latitude do we have when it comes to issuing bonds in order to support the budget?
bonding?
Yes, bonding.
There is no
There's no-
provision to bond to support the operating
Okay,
budget,
issue
except
bonds.
short-term
Okay.
for cash flow
Okay,
purposes.
just move on.
Other than that, there,
For capital project
Yeah,
purposes.
there are
it's a different
certain-
story.
Different story, right, okay.
You said that after sort of all the scheduling stuff is done, that an extra 200 or 300 people sort of wash up over the summer to enter. How does that affect the costs?
Well, typically, what the program coordinators have done is they look at some historical trending and they build the excess capacity into the schedule in anticipation of what typically they expect to see happen in August. So when this schedule is kind of put to bed in July, they know that they have 20 seats in Global 10 and 20 seats in, they build some excess capacity because the alternative is very inefficient. So adding a section after the schedule is there is very difficult to fill that efficiently because the kids are already in the place. So you want to try to build some excess capacity to anticipate that, because if you don't and then you need it, you've got a real inefficient. It doesn't make any sense. So in other words, if you build 10
What I'm hearing you
spots,
say is that
you're kind of
there's some
inflating.
estimates made about how many people that are going to be, and even though we don't know who they are,
Right.
what courses they're going to want to take.
Well,
So the
and
people
what
that we don't
happens-
know who they are, we somehow have to estimate.
We don't know who
what
they
kind of
are.
grades they're going to be in and what kind of courses
We don't know
they're
who
gonna
they
be
are,
in.
but we take it, the coordinators take an intelligent prediction based on the last 4 or 5 years, typically what they've seen happen. But then, to your other point, when the student comes in, their choices are very limited. They may end up being only in global commerce, but maybe taking in English and fine arts, and they plug them into the schedule where there is room. They don't have the flexibility that a student that's putting their course request in now would have.
And for the 300 that comes, maybe 200 leaves.
Yeah.
If you could flip that down just for a second, because I'm not saying something that I think, no, I'm sorry, go the other way with it, I apologize. Okay, I see nothing in there that suggests using some of the fund balance.
Oh, good point.
In other words, if you got a fund
balance.
balance of 3.5 million now,
Yeah.
and you're projecting a 4% increase, you're gonna be near 6 million, give or take a little bit, depending on what expenses we have this year.